Okay guys, I'm back a few minutes later than I thought I would be because I realized after I had shut off the video that I had left my backpack in the car, and it has a few things in it that I thought I might need, so I wanted to run back and get it, so it took me a few extra. So I lost some extra time, but oh well. I wanted to show you one thing here that I noticed that I don't believe was like this when I came through here before. I didn't remember that this weird hump thing here was cleared like this, and I don't know. Well, this clearly has been chopped at some point. I don't know for sure. I believe at one point I went down that and thought it was a path, but I think it's more of a drainage ditch. There's a tree been chopped down over there. Someone has clearly cut down some of these small trees here, and I'm not really sure why. Why would someone do that? That's kind of odd. Who would do that and why? Okay. Continuing on down the path, Pawtuxet Oxboes Park / I believe it's called Pawtuxet State Park, Cranston, Rhode Island. If you haven't seen the previous video, you may want to check it out. Okay, now there's a side path I need to... This is the main path right here. If you keep taking it down from Fate Memorial Field, it goes all the way down and comes out at Roads on the Pawtuxet, which is like a banquet hall / who knows what else over there on what's the name of the street over there? I'm not even positive. I want to say Narragansett Boulevard, but I think that's not it. I think that's the name of the road in Warwick, the Warwick side of the river. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, the path I want to take you is right here. Now this is a lesser traveled path, and I had actually been to this park several times, probably 5 times or so, 4 or 5 times before I even realized this path was here. Never mind, I actually got around to checking out what was down it. Now let me back up here because I got to tell you a story real quick. I don't know if you remember, but in one of my previous videos, I believe it was dr5. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. I'll put a link down at the bottom if I remember to the video. But anyway, when I was at Pawtuxet, what was the name of that trail? Pawtuxet River Trail, I think. Anyway, one of my first few videos, and I came to that DIY tent / party shack in the woods off that trail that was covered by a big tarp and everything. Well, that was my first coming upon of anything like that. And then at a later point when I came to this park, I was walking along the trails exploring, and not the one I'm about to show you, it's a different one, but I happened to go off the path and onto a smaller path, and I suddenly discovered a giant DIY tent. It was like big enough to fit 2 small tents inside, which actually were inside, and there was a guy there that I met, and I don't want to tell you his name without his permission because this is YouTube, but for reference purposes I'll nickname him Mr. M. Mr. M, I introduced myself to him and vice versa, and he informed me that he was the one that built that big structure that I just told you about, and then I told him that I came upon the one on the Warwick side that was in my previous video, and he told me he built that one too with his friends. Neither one did he build by himself. Anyway, and he told me that there was a couple others that he had built, or that I wasn't absolutely sure if he had built all of them, but he said there were a couple other structures similar in this park that we're at now, and I came upon the third one when I was here, not one of the other times that I was here. So first we see a pile of rusty old beer cans and bottles. Path continues down there, but the side path, don't think there's anyone down there. We come down here, and perhaps you can already catch a glimpse of something through the trees. Hello? Like I said, this is a public park, but yet somehow this is allowed to stay here. Which, don't get me wrong, I think parks should let things like this stay, but it's just not something you expect to find in a public park in the middle of a city. Not that far from civilization. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? I mean, there's lots of stuff around it, which I won't get into describing just yet. But I do want to show you the interior of the shack. Quite wide open, plenty of air, ventilation. There's a table. It's blackened somewhat. I think at one point someone built a fire on top of it, which probably wasn't the best idea because the table itself looks like it caught on fire a bit. But there's a chair, a nice bench here. Lots of graffiti. What trail out? The one you came in on. What does this say? If you cannot follow some simple rules, follow the trail out. So I guess whoever either built or was maintaining this shelter was telling people not to complain or else, or not follow the rules or else. Which probably makes sense. They probably just had rules that made sense, like don't scream at the top of your lungs and don't destroy the place. And apparently if there was a rule about littering, it wasn't followed very well, but oh well. At least they bagged up some of the garbage. I think they intended at one point, perhaps, to take it out, but they just never got to it. Probably because they were drunk at the time, as evidenced by all of the alcohol bottles. Not that I am criticizing drinking. I personally don't drink, but I used to, and I totally understand its appeal. So that is structure, well, to me it's structure number 3. To you it's structure number 2 as far as the ones you've seen on my video. But this is the third one that I came upon. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, actually I know I'm not mistaken, because I distinctly remember him telling me that he, perhaps his friends too, referred to this as hobo camp. He said it was near Fay Field, and so that's why I was looking down the side path, and that's how I came upon it. So anyway, there's that. And last time I was here, there's some colored feathers on the ground here. I wonder, yeah, there's still some remnants of them. Orange one, that's about it. The rest of them are, oh, another orange one. I like colored feathers. I had them as a kid. It came on an Indian headdress that I had gotten as a child. Alright, so then, well, you can go either way, this way or this way. But this cuts down and goes into what I like to call the party area. Or the wide open party area. Someone obviously at one point cleared this out. You have a shopping cart from, not sure what store that's from. It looks like it might be Dave's, but could be an older Shaw's shopping cart. Anyway, tons of bottles and whatnot in there, and you have the fire pit, or not really fire pit, but I don't know what you would call this. I'm not a camping expert, but with stone, a circular stone thing where you would build a fire, and they have chairs for people to sit in while they sit around the fire and hang out. That chair is pretty much toast. It's all bent and everything, but what does this chair say? It says, "Trouble here. Please leave us alone." That one's mostly illegible, if not entirely illegible graffiti. A couple of old hand carry baskets from some store. And that's about it for this area. Now, the weird thing, wait a minute, is this a path over here? I didn't notice this the last time I was here. I'm not taking this right now, but there is a path that goes down there. If not tonight, then another time I'll have to come back and see what's down that path. But what I was going to tell you was, the weird thing is that those wooden bridges led down here. And then the last time I was here, it seemed like that after you investigated both the shack and the little party area there, that the path just kind of petered out. And this looks like a path, but then if you go on it, it looks like it just circles around and comes back. Well, first of all, it just kind of dies, but I mean, there's the shack again. There's nothing over there. So I don't know what's up with that. I'm thinking maybe back in the day, before anyone built a shack over here, that there was a path that continued, and it might be that one, possibly be that one that I just showed you. I don't know. I'll have to come back when I have time for that. I'm ending this video now, and we're going to resume when we get back on the main. No, wait. I probably will resume when I get back to the field, or close to the field. All right. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hope you enjoy part 2 of Pawtuxet Oxboes Park. Yeah, that rocked.